Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a different sort of video which will be in the Drive With Me series, but I won't be driving. Drive with Daddy! Yay! So I'm going to run through exactly my driving experience, how I passed my test, and going right back to before I even started my lessons, and my car's getting steamed up because it's raining outside as usual. So I thought I would start with before my lessons. I didn't know anything about cars. I didn't know the clutch or where the accelerator was. I know I'm an idiot. Whenever I rang up for my lessons, I rang them and asked them if there was anybody who could help me learn everything about the car because I had no experience whatsoever. And the guy laughed down the phone and said, well, that's what you get lessons for. A story about my lessons. There was one where there was like a little mini roundabout on one of our roads, and I went on top of that roundabout, not around it, not just slightly tipping over it. I went fully on top of this roundabout, which is off the ground slightly. So yeah, I still haven't done that roundabout since passing, which was a year ago. Okay, so on my theory, I came out of the theory test and done it in 12 minutes and looked at the clock, instantly thinking, failed. And yeah, wouldn't even open the paper or nothing that they gave me until I got to the left where there was nobody about. Opened the paper, oh my god, passed. And I swear I was literally, I felt like whenever I was walking home that I was skipping to the beat of, what is it? You know, like, we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. I felt like that, like I was skipping up the road. And also, like, in the theory test, they search you for, like, anything. I don't know what they were searching me for, but they literally took my glasses off, looked behind my ears, checked over the glasses, like, what are you supposed to fit in there? And yeah, before I even went in, so that made me paranoid. But then somebody's phone went off inside. Like, I do not know where they were hiding that phone, but they must have had it hid pretty well, because if they checked my glasses, come on. Anyway, yeah, they got taken out, clearly, and they were still talking on the phone. They didn't even try to hide it at all. Like, they were sitting walking out the phone. Yeah, I was just doing the theory. Okay.
What? Could you say that again?
Yeah, and then I went and done more lessons. Came to about the 30 lesson mark, and then went and obviously done my first test. Whenever I say first, you clearly know there's going to be more. Yeah, so I went and done my first driving test, got to the test centre. I was nervous, never done one before. Then you're all stood in like this room, everybody around you and stuff, and then the examiner's coming in and you're like, oh, hopefully I get this one. I looked at this guy thinking, oh, hopefully I get him. Wish I hadn't have said that. Wee Alan. Hate him. Anyway, yeah, so he called my name, and then my instructor just like looked at me like, good luck. Yeah, that should have been like warning lights. Yeah, went out with him. He asked for the eye check, and I swear to God, I panicked myself for about a good month thinking, what if I'm actually blind and I cannot read this number plate? But it was actually really close, so that was alright. He asked me to beep the horn, and I mean, I actually never beeped the horn before, so I was all excited, and everything was fine. He was talking away and stuff, and 10 minutes in, I literally went like the tiniest wee bit back on a hill, and he put his foot right on the brake, and I knew instantly that I failed because you're not allowed to major, because Alan is awful. He's an awful person. Yeah, and I was heartbroken, and I went straight into the house, started crying, and put in for my second test right away, because if I hadn't have, I would never have done it again, and I'm so glad I had have. 2 days before my test, I started to feel really sick, and then Sunday night I text my instructor saying I feel really sick, like, you know, should I go ahead with this? And he says, well, you will lose your fee, so you're better off just trying it, but if you don't feel good, then don't do it. And then Monday morning I just thought, I'm not losing out on this fee, nope, I'm not paying for a test, I'm not doing it. So I just went, got in the car, it was lashing, I just wasn't feeling good, and I says to the guy as soon as he got in, I'm sorry, but I probably won't talk to you much because I feel awful and I don't want to cough all over you. And he was like, okay. So, driving test, first manoeuvre, my worst one, the 3-point turn, turning the road, and the guy says to me, now there was a learner right in front of me too out in their test, because I seen them just go out right before me. They were doing exactly the same one, and I went out and I says to the guy, listen, I know how awful it is, somebody driving up the road while you're trying to do that, so can I just, wait while they do theirs? And he says, what, you know how awful you are at this? And I was like, no, I'm amazing at this, really trying to build up my confidence, just hoping for the best, and yeah, thank God I done it, perfect. And then another bit of that test was there was roadworks on, and he told me to go down this street, but it was the wrong side of the road. And I was like, no, I was fighting with him, properly fighting with him. No, I can't go down there, that's the wrong side of the road. And then I told him before going down it, you can't fail me. If I'm on the wrong side of the road, you're telling me to do this. And then we went down, he says, well, say every other car's driving down this way. And I was like, well, I'm just not feeling for it. He asked me whenever I got back to the test centre if that was my first ever test. And I says to him, no, I didn't know whether to lie or not, but I says, no, I've had one before. And he started laughing, saying, I know, I just wanted to know if you would actually tell me that you had one before and you failed. So thank God I didn't lie. So then we went and parked up, and my instructor was in front of me, and I was just staring him dead in the eye, oh my God, I think I failed again. But I just didn't care because I was sick. And then looked at the instructor and he says, well, how did you do in your last test? And I told him 2 majors and 7 minors. And he says, well, I'm sorry to say, but you have more minors this time. And then I was heartbroken again, oh, of course. And then he says, but you've passed, you have no majors. And oh my God, I nearly started crying. So picking my first car, I waited about a week after passing to go get my first car. Obviously I'm in it. I wanted a Fiat 500, as you do, because I am very girly. And then obviously I didn't have the money for a Fiat 500. I went to see one, didn't like it. Went to see minis, didn't like them. Obviously I couldn't afford them anyway, but yeah, I went to all the used cars, then went and instead of the Fiat 500 I was going to go for a Nissan Micra, and went to Few 1, and the guy didn't even take the cobwebs out of the car, it was disgusting.
Well, it was fucking one of yous. Disgusting!
Went around that whole day looking for cars, and then ended up, Mark picked this one and says, let's just go for it. And I was like, nah. And then we went, looked at it, seen the red seats, and then I whispered to Mark, this is my car. I want this car. This is my car. Okay, so this is my car, my steering wheel, which I love, but you can't really see it. And yeah, my little radio thing. And this is my fake air freshener. I say fake because it was supposed to be an air freshener, but I don't actually have anything in it, but it looks cute. Okay, so yeah, this is the red seats that I was talking about, which won me over. And there's red down there, but it doesn't really look that bright at the minute. Yeah, so it was the first drive, which lasted about a half an hour to 40 minutes. We left from the place, obviously Mark was driving in front of me just so I'd know definitely where I was driving, and we left from that place and he literally drove like 2 minutes, pulled over at the side, and then I pulled over behind him and he was like, are you okay? Are you okay? Can we get a smoke? I can't deal with this. And he was more afraid than I was, which was weird, and I was just like, you're putting pressure on me by making me worry. 8 months into my first year of driving, that is actually whenever I went and done my first drive-through for food, and it was with my friend, and he took me up there and he says, yeah, it only has one driving bit, it doesn't have the parking spaces, so you know, you'll just drive in, drive straight out. I was like, okay, that's what I need, you know, I can't be having to pull up into a wee bay and stuff and waiting for the food. No, it had two lanes and then a few different wee, I don't know what they're called, little things where you give the money, where you ask for the order, all that kind of stuff. And then whenever you got up there, they says, can you pull into bay 1 and wait for the food to come out? And I looked at my friend like, bay 1? Are they trying to give me a heart attack? I'm crap at parking. Which is true, I am awful at parking. Yeah, and now I drive everywhere, apart from that little mini roundabout, which I am not driving on top of again, ever again. I am sorry this wasn't an actual proper drive with me video, but, you know, can't really be talking and driving at the same time because I have extreme road rage, as you've seen in the last video, which I'll link at the below. Yeah. But if you want to see more of these kind of videos, just let me know, and I've tried to cram everything into this one video just so then the next ones can be drive with me and I can actually drive about instead of just sitting in the car like a weirdo, like I am.